Welcome to Forever Exile, the Path of Exile podcast. I'm Justin, aka Tags.
Tyler, Wrecker of Days.
And a disappointment to your children.
Aw.
Well, I mean, your intro wasn't what they expected.
Oh, I thought you just meant
just
in general. I just thought you were being your normal jackass self. All right.
I wouldn't say that.
No, my children like it when I'm all goofy, so Wrecker of Days!
There we go. Yeah. Episode 106. And it's a big episode. Thanks a lot, GGG. Jesus. Oh my God.
Oh, we'd be nerding out if we didn't have a timestamp.
We tried to nerd out for a little bit yesterday during the reveal, and then stupid Chris is like, and patch notes are coming out today. We're like, oh, great. That's
normally
fantastic.
you and I have about a week, like they'll post what the coming week is like, and we didn't even realize they hadn't done that yet.
Shout out to a new Patreon this week, Torden Rack. Thank you so much for joining the crew. If you're curious what our Patreon is, you can find out from more information down below or on our website. Basically gives you access to After Dark, which is our podcast after the podcast, where we talk more Path of Exile and life, which I know is some people's favorite. But you can find some more information down below. We also have like little surprises every now and then, which that's been my Path of Exile week. That's all I'll say, but I love fun stuff, Ty. I love fun stuff.
I don't
Shout
know
out to all
what
the
you're
patrons, though. You guys are awesome. We love your faces.
Yes, we do. And
what is this?
Bon fête, GGG. Happy birthday. That's my intentionally horrible French accent. Happy birthday, GGG. October 23. Windows PC was released in 2013. Huh. That's like 5 years ago or more. Hey?
Yep. You pick times that are weird because we could do this next week and we'd be talking about it the day before.
No.
We'd be talking about it the day before.
See, we're recording on the 15th. This comes out the 17th. Next time we record on the 22nd, it comes out on the 20th.
Their birthday.
It comes out the 24th.
I'll say
you don't say happy birthday after.
I'll say it next week.
You got to get your date math right. This is it.
I have to. I got to quickly tell you about something. We're going to do How Was Our Week relatively quickly. So just chill. Anyone else who's very excited to hear about our week, you'll still hear about it. Just going to be short. But last week we were joking just as we got started. This episode, actually, I had to turn my stupid office lights on again because they turned off. But I'm not going to say the actual word because I don't want to queue up anybody's Google or whatever it is. But
do it. Say
it. Last week when you said to give you directions to Pita Pit.
Yeah.
There was a response that had me dying because they were listening to it in their car and that part happens. So then the car responds, the phone responds with trying to find directions, right?
Oh, perfect.
And he's trying to stop that, but every time he stops it and tells it not to, just like any good podcast app, it backs up like 2 seconds. And it got stuck in a loop where he couldn't get out of.
Kept going.
I was dying. Anyway, we'll try to avoid talking to your cars.
No way.
And your stuff. But how was your week, Ty?
Hey, Google, look up Forever Exiled. I hope that screwed over some people that were driving and stuff. Awesome. What was your question?
How was your week?
Awesome. Because I used the podcast to screw over somebody's directions on Google. It was sweet. But anyway, no, I had a really good week, actually. But we disappointed some of our prior share, 9062 on Reddit, was extremely disappointed with our last episode because we neglected to speak about our lawns. Justin, how was your lawn?
Well, thank God for all this rain because my lawn is great right now.
Isn't it? Isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. No, I've been absolutely loving this rain. It's good. So anyway, that's our lawn talk. Our lawns are looking good. We're excited for the winter. We're excited for the spring. It's nice high cut.
I got my bill yesterday from my lawn guy, so that's my lawn week.
Good for you. No, I'm liking it. My lawn's at the awkward stage, or some of the mixed seeds that I had are kind of showing their different shades right now, but that'll all blend in nicely pretty soon. You know how I finished the Shannara Chronicles, like the actual series, the 34 or whatever books that took me about 1.5 years?
I vaguely remember, yep.
So I really liked the series. I thought the whole global series, all the books are intertwined, was really, really good. MTV had a show about it a while ago.
Cribs? MTV Cribs?
I don't know. It was executively produced by Jon Favreau, who I think is amazing. Everything he does is awesome. the Shannara show, so I just finished it. I didn't want to watch it beforehand in case it actually spoiled something. You know how like they mix and match a whole bunch of books, from all over the place. A lot of the time shows do that. And so anyway, it was on Crave where I'm from, and the Shannara show sucked, man. Like it was one of the worst shows I have ever seen. I was so disappointed. It says it was worse than the Hitman movies when you actually love the lore of the Hitman video game. Oh, it was brutal. But I got an email just because, I subscribed to support. Drox 2 demo came out.
They emailed you to let you know that?
Well, not specifically like, hey,
They're
Tyler.
like, hey, Tyler, just a heads up.
You're the only person on our mailing list, just a heads up. No, but it's out. So we're set. Screw Age of Empires 4, right?
Weren't we already playing Drox 2?
Well, yeah, we were playing the alpha.
Oh, okay.
So it's probably changed a lot. But anyway. Now, also, another awesome thing that happened to me this week, Justin, is GGG liked one of my tweets in the middle of like their hype stuff. And oh my goodness.
You finished
feels
a little?
so good. Feels so good. Yeah, I had to
What
change
was your
my
tweet?
pants.
What was your
I don't
tweet?
know. I think I
yes,
said,
you do. Come on. You know it word for word. What is it?
something about how much I love them. It was nice. It was good. And last bit of needing to change my pants news is my wife has been dabbling in PoE once every couple of weeks on her own time, which is absolutely awesome. She was excited about the reveal video for Scourge. Ooh. She watched with interest the entire 30 minutes. And when she saw the support pack, she was like, oh,
the reindeer.
That looks awesome. Both of them. She thought they both looked wicked. So things are looking good in my house. Mm-hmm.
Time to spend some money.
Woo! Anyway, yeah, no, it was a good week. A lot of little just fun stuff that showed up. I always think of you when I think of Drox and when I see Drox updates, but I know we'll never play it because now we have Age of Empires 4 that's coming out. But once that dies down, we'll have Drox 2 waiting for us. And
gonna play 316 for 6 days. And then
no way.
Thank God
what?
there's a boring league coming up.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh man. Yawn. Mm-hmm. What a crappy time for GGG to come out with so many epic changes that we've been waiting for when Age of Empires 4 is coming out. It's like the only game we'd consider usurping PoE for. Oh man, what a good time for us, eh? Mm-hmm. Anyway, Drox 2, top of the list. Anyway, how was your week? Did you have a week or do you not care and you just want to move on?
It was like it always is. It was busy. I did get to work on just a fun secret thing for patrons, so that was fun.
Oh, right. That's what you're talking about. Secrets.
I had a good time with that. But
yes.
My week was it was work. My son got into a car accident, so that sucked. His first car accident, so we had to deal with that.
But he's okay.
Not fun.
So
he's okay.
awesome.
Thankfully, everybody was fine.
Yes.
Rode off his car though, so we got to go deal with that in the next few weeks. But otherwise, it's a busy week. We had Thanksgiving, had a little bit of family over, hung out for a little bit, and then I drank. Which is what happens when family comes over.
Family comes over.
I finished off some scotch. And there were portions of the evening that I don't remember. I don't remember them, but it was good scotch. So,
and so now you have a whole bunch of Gonasifa Herpalades
from a family get together.
Well,
no.
not all of them are. Not all of them are directly related. Okay, come on. Anyway,
it was a good week, and I'm excited. This was a fun week. We also let's just jump right into this week in PoE. We're gonna skip how's our PoE week because our PoE week, Tyler would have had one, but there's more pressing things to talk about.
I had a great time.
We did hang out this week though. We watched the reveal at my house together.
Yeah, sorry people that wanted. So I sit down to broadcast, right? And I'm just gonna watch it and I'm gonna have my stupid face on there. And I'm there. I got my coffee all ready to go. I have my water and I'm getting ready. And I just finished. I'm like 3 minutes into my broadcast, people start showing up and saying hi, and we're all excited. It's a new reveal. We're all nerding out. And then I message you to say, hey, man, 20 minutes, show's on. And you're like, yeah, I'm on my way home. 2 minutes later, you're like, you want to come over for it? And I'm like, oh, yeah, we can do that stuff. We're so used to this COVID lifestyle that hanging out doesn't even make sense. Like the other night, Chris was saying like, wait, there's a Canucks game on and nobody's over. Like, what's going on? So anyway, so my apologies to those that were watching, but I turned off my camera, kept my broadcast on, but you came, picked me up. We scooted over to your place, watched it together, and kind of ruined some of the initial reactions to each other, but I think there's lots to consider and go through, but we were still live, on the little chit chat on Twitch, hanging out with the broadcast on our phones, even though I wasn't at my computer.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun to watch it. It worked out nicely, and it was a good reveal, and the Q&A after was good. So we've got some stuff to chat about. They kind of dumped a whole lot of stuff on us for one episode because normally we go like, hey, here's the reveal, let's talk about it, we're excited, Q&A, and what da. And then we've got a manifesto, patch notes, and then release. This time they were like, hey guys, nope, here's just we're crapping out everything, and good luck. And that was yesterday for us. So
it's like, hey, Just, do you need some topsoil for your lawn? Because I can hit you up. No, it's okay. No, don't worry about it. Or maybe just a little,
maybe just a little bit.
Yeah, like just I'll take my time with it. It's like all of a sudden, it's like, no, I got your back. And they're like, beep, beep, like 3 dump trucks just on your lawn.
Did you have some stuff you want to bring up before we get into the league stuff?
Only a couple things because I'm excited to talk about everything. But there was some stuff that they posted, their normal teasers and things like that. So there's some stuff they posted before the actual reveal video. Lots of it I'm not going to touch on, but it's all awesome. But they have some div cards, some new div cards as usual. But fishing, cool. They had a couple fishing things coming up. And it's like, it's been so untouched, so unheard of. I don't even know if the wiki's right on how, like the wiki, as far as I know, is like, I think this is how you get a fishing rod. And I think this is how you get the quest from Fish Krillson or whatever their name is, which I've met. I'm so proud to have remembered that I met. Yes, I know I didn't broadcast back in the day, but anyway, fishing stuff was added.
Cool.
Yes, very cool.
That's fun.
Sacred Orb caused such a massive kerfuffle in the community. And normally I don't care to bring up, or I'm trying not to bring up issues that the community cares about. But
no, I think it's a good one.
GGG posted a response to it, which is why I'm bringing it up. And people were just pissed about more orbs coming into the game. Of course, this is before gameplay and anybody knows anything about the reveal video. People are there's like more orbs coming into the game. People are worried about click, 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 click. So Chris brought this up.
So it wasn't a complaint that there was necessarily more orbs coming in. What people were complaining about was the fact that their claim was that the sacred orb, this is what people complaining's claim were, that the sacred orb was a solution to a problem GGG had just created by adding this new modifier to defensive bases. So there was a 0 to 10 and 0 to 20% span that the base defense could roll. A sacred orb allows you to re-roll that percentage, so you have a chance of getting it better. And so people were saying, well, you created the problem of now you can roll 0 to 20%, and in order to fix that problem, you've created another orb that we're going to have to spam click, which of course Chris clarified that it's 3 times rarer than an Exalt. So it's not a common thing to get, but
only the Mirror of Calandra is rarer than this sacred orb.
I am so not, we talk about this, we joke about this, people kind of make fun of us, and I'm totally fine with it. I've made the comment before, people play this game in a much different environment and a very different like headspace than I do. What a dumb thing to be upset about. Like the fact that you can now, that armor bases are going to roll, so I don't want to say armor bases, defensive bases are going to roll between 0 to 10% and 0 to 20%, and they just randomize, right? You could have got a 7% increase, you might have gotten a 13%. Why do you care? That's cool. That's fun. That's like, it's something new.
It's why you play the game.
It's just something, it's literally just something new. It's okay. You're going to see, I love the fact that it sounds like, at least to me, that you now see what that percentage is, so you actually have an idea. Did you get a decent base? Are there ones to look for that might be better? But it's just another thing to chase. And this, I was laughing to myself going like, guys, calm down. Like, I get that there's a difference to some people between let's say average, let's say you get like a 8 or 9%. I get it. There's a difference between an 8 or 9% roll versus a 20% roll on an ES base. Not game ending though. Like, this isn't like build defining difference. It's just, you're a little bit better. Calm down.
Yeah. And to me, it's another step in making items less capable of being perfect. It adds more variance to
it's
things.
A chase.
And
it's something to look for.
Right. But I like that. Perfect should almost never exist in this game. And I like the idea, because perfect seems to exist and people really are still latching on to like the idea of harvest. I'm never going to get this item if it's not for harvest, going on. And I know people weren't necessarily referencing harvest, but that idea of a perfect item. And I love the fact that a perfect item will never exist. You'll always have to be happy with almost perfect. And I really like that. And I think this is just another step in that. And it's not like 0% is bad for you. It's still just like it always was, but now it could even be better. So I still really like that.
What I like is that now the stuff that drops on the ground is what determines that too. It's not a craft that you're putting on it. This is what it dropped with. And I saw people that were like, we already have blessings, we already have divines. And I was like, you need to reread what a blessing does. The blessing rerolls the implicit. The defense base is not the implicit. That's the defensive base. So I think maybe it was just a little bit confusing. I wasn't really sure, but when people started spazzing out, I was like, oh, you guys have way too much time on your hands. And a new league needs to drop real quick, because if this is what you're getting, your panties in a bunch about, that seems silly to me.
I personally really like it. I like that they're adding an orb for it right off the bat. It's not
something
taking
I can
a
sell.
league or two. It is
Awesome.
Yeah. And it's rare, but even if it was as common as a chaos orb, like at least it's, it's not as common as a scroll or an armor scrap. Like still,
no, I do understand why people would be a little bit more bothered if it was more common, because then there's not as much fun as the chase item of like what dropped on the ground. How, maybe I got really lucky. So I do like that they went, I would have been fine without the sacred orb at all, but I like the fact that they threw it in there and they were like, oh, just FYI, this is like between an Exalt and a mirror. So
well, yeah,
you're not going to see it.
And so Chris had his post to explain everything and kind of hopefully calm the waters. And if not, well, I mean, it's part of the core game now. You'll forget the argument in a month and it'll be normal. So that'll be neat. And I mean, whatever. If it's not properly balanced, those percentages and how to re-roll them, it'll change. It'll get balanced. It'll work. So it'll be good. You're not going to care about this, but I still really like it. Permanent leagues were really well represented with these releases. Like there's a lot of core changes that we're going to be talking about that have happened, not just in 3.15, but for the coming 3.16. And that really impacts standard. And so I'm a standard player, so I really appreciated it. But there was a post that talked about the changes that are happening to standard, especially in regards to how the Atlas works. Because it's going from 8 to 4, and there's so many different changes. The Atlas passives, even we'll get into it, but the Delve changes that happened, they talk about standard and permanent leagues, and that was awesome. So I just wanted to give a GGG a shout out for considering and not just ignoring the, I guess you call it the minor league, the league that most people don't play, and I really appreciated that. So that was awesome.
Sweet. So we can jump into it.
Scourge? Almost. There were a couple videos or a couple comments. I wanted to ask you first what you thought, but the video happened, and not everything that was in the video was actually in the patch notes.
Wait, are we into the video now? You're confusing me.
Yes, into the video, but not what they... We're into the video, but not the patch notes.
Well, but... Okay. Go ahead.
I wanted to say that compared to the information overload we had at the beginning of 3.15, which was like, sure, there was the reveal... And then there was like 3 interviews after that were each 3 hours long of like information. All great, all good, all well intended. But this was nice. Like it's 30 minutes, all my questions answered. And I love it. Like I had time for it. I had time to digest it. I had time to go back and listen to it because it was one video. And they really did a good job with it, explaining everything, coming out with posts. And of course, it was also because they had the 3-part. I don't know if it was a dev manifesto or a pre-dev manifesto. I don't know if we're getting one or not, but they had the explanation ahead of time. And then they had this 30-minute thing. And I love it. Like, absolutely no offense to wraeclast and the other interviews. I love listening to those. But when it comes to all the important stuff, I love that it was just 30 minutes and I have everything I need to know. It was great. I absolutely loved it.
So I think, I mean, with regards to last league, that was partly just due to the nature of what had happened in the video, what they had talked about in the release, and the fact that he was heavy on talking about the word nerfs, which led to all these like extended interviews, which they were fine. They were too long. But I did really like this method. I wonder too, sometime, like I was thinking about it actually just as you were speaking about it. I wonder if maybe it's not a bad thing, because they've been so married to the idea of we do our reveal, we post our manifesto, we post our patch notes, we post our gem information, whatever the order is. And I wonder maybe there's a conversation that's happened there that they said, maybe we don't need to be married to this order. Maybe we should try something else that goes smoother for us. Maybe that breaking the manifesto up into something that is consumed ahead of time, so people have some information to give us some feedback. I don't know that I mean, I joked about it before we started. The patch notes releasing the day of the reveal, for the most 99% of people, that's probably awesome. I just watched the reveal. Now I get to read the patch notes. For me, I was like, God damn it. give me some time. Like, because when we talk about it, I don't want to sound like an idiot. I'd like to at least consume some of it, right? But I do wonder if there's a conversation that happens where they said, maybe we don't need to be so married to this order, how we've always done it. Maybe there's a better way to try it. Because I feel like he even said at one point, like, this is just a test. Because these patch notes are ridiculous. They are
These
so
are
long.
the biggest patch notes in the world. It's like Santa Claus list of good and bad. It's huge.
And to come out a week ahead of time, that's a lot of work on their end. I'm not sure where I fall yet to liking it. I said to you when we watched the reveal that I was like, because it wasn't coming out full. It wasn't coming out everything. And in fact, there are a couple things in there. Granted, it's small, really, really small, but about a couple skills where they said, we'll do a news post about these in the future. That wouldn't normally happen with patch notes. Patch notes would typically be, here's everything. And so I have to look past that, because this is the craziest patch notes I think I've seen in a really, really long time. But it also includes I'm going to just call this like pre-dev manifesto or dev manifesto from the previous 3 posts in it. But they've changed some stuff, which kills me, because now I'm going like, do I need to read it again? What part do I need to pay attention to? But we've talked about it before. I love this method of them sharing the reveal. I love the Twitch thing. I love the watching it, them talking about it. I like that Chris upgraded his sound. So he's got an SM7B microphone. I don't know why he took the windscreen off. He should put that back on because it will help him with his pops. But I do appreciate the fact that they're sounding a little bit better, and it looked really good. But it was fun. It was fun to watch.
I agree. I think patch notes should always be complete. You don't save stuff for teasers. So even if you have like, okay, this is what this skill does, here are the numbers, people still like, oh, okay, what the heck does it do? Right? Like the video of how the skill functions will still get just as many views, sure, maybe a little bit more, a little bit less, but people still want to actually see it in action. So there's still that thing. But to me, patch notes do need to be complete. Otherwise, they're not patch notes. Now, like, look, in retrospect, you're going to be like, oh, shoot, what were the numbers of this skill again? You're going to go to the patch notes and you're going to be like, oh, I can't find that here. Where do I go for it? But I do love having the patch notes out so far in advance compared to what it usually is. For so many people, that's extremely helpful. To me, in terms of theory crafting and theory building, I need the tree with it. I can't do, like, this all is interesting and it's really good. I love knowing it. It lets me theory craft in my head. But the tree is the craziest part of every build, and it's the part that people probably play with the most. And so I have no solid theory crafting available to me until I have the tree in my hands.
That poor path of building community fork person and the main person. Oh my gosh. Are they it's not out, is it?
No. They haven't put out the tree information yet.
I'm pretty sure it was just a picture of him with his hands up saying I quit. I'm out.
No, they haven't posted the filter or the tree information yet. Yeah, but I absolutely loved it. And Ziggy, whoa, great questions, great pace. It's like he took an interview class or something. It was just like bang, 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 bang. It was well done. Well done. So whether they worked together with GGG ahead of time, whatever it is that he changed or they changed, that was a well done thing. One last thing, because it wasn't really talked about in the video. I love that they used their own filter in the video.
Oh, in the breach part.
Right, yeah. It was in breach at the end where they're like, yeah, that's right. Oh my goodness. It was hilarious to see all that stuff. But then later on in that video or the interview with Ziggy, Chris is like, yeah, we have to turn it off because it's just too much stuff.
Yeah, it's too distracting. They're like,
Okay, take a hint, right? 8 years later, let's, tweak that up a bit.
It's really funny too, because their talk in breach in that particular part was talking about how one of the changes they made, which is a great change, is that items will now drop at your feet at the end. That was one of the one of the focuses of it. But then to all of a sudden put it into the spot and be like, oh, do you remember how ugly it could look? Here it is.
But you know what? And I know this is a little out of place because we'll get there, but that is an awesome feature for a timed event that slower players would have to struggle with. And now a slower player can be a little bit more successful with it because they have less worry.
Did they say it will do it for Ultimatum too? I didn't hear it. And it would be really nice if it did it for Ultimatum. Like, I would like Ultimatum not to drop until the Ultimatum closes. Because then to me, that's way easier for me to not have to be...
Ultimatum's not in the game.
Sorry, not Ultimatum. Delirium.
I don't remember. But yeah. So anyway, let's get into the actual patch notes if you're all right with that. Overall thoughts? Quick summary of emotions?
It's awesome. I think that this is one of the leagues I'm most looking forward to in a while. We were excited. I mean, right from the get-go, we talked about it during the reveal that there wasn't anything we heard that we were like, oh, I don't know about that. I don't know if I like that. Like, everything seemed exciting.
Right. Yeah, like just as massive, maybe even more core changes than 3.15, but nothing seems bad. I mean, people might have their opinions about Scourge being timed, but thinking about like the entire presentation, nothing seemed bad. And I did not see the amount of changes coming. Oh my goodness, there's so much more changing this league than they even hinted at. It's insane. And it seems like it's incredibly thought out. It doesn't seem like they missed anything. Like, so many of their items and mechanics are so integrated to other things, but they have things like, you know, how delves and scarabs and all that kind of functions together with like atlases, just everything, like jewel radiuses, all of it was just really thought out really well. It doesn't seem like they overlooked anything. Normally you'd have something like, okay, yeah, this does impact this, and yeah, we know it's not going to really jive well with that, but we'll be changing that next league. Seems like they just got it. They just got it all. So yeah, really, really neat. I just can't believe how many core changes there are. And the interesting thing is, like, you can't change core changes all the time. You know what I mean? So core change last league, massive core changes this league. At some point, like, those core changes are going to be the way they want it. And it's going to be that way for another 5 years. And this is just happening now. So it's kind of neat to be a part of that for sure.
I'm really excited I know we'll probably talk about it more, but I'm really excited to play with the new tree and to see the Atlas changes. I think those are my two favorite things.
Yeah. Well, that's what we all play for sure. I mean, we all love the gem system and that whole everything seems to level, but for almost everyone, I'll bet you it's the tree.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a league with this is massive, and they worked from home.
I have a tweet from Dominic, who's one of the sound engineers at GGG, and he said that this is one of their, he was really proud and excited to show off that this, and said that this was their first fully worked from home league, which is crazy.
Insane. It is, because sure, you might have more time to be at your pace, but you have less resources, you have less communication, there's a lot less efficiency for everything where it's outside of your realm, right? Like, you do your own stuff, but then so much of it's dependent on someone else in communication, and you can't just go to the next cubicle or the next office, interrupt a meeting, whatever it is. Like,
well, we know they have MSN Messenger,
which you can message Chris on anytime.
That's right.
Yeah. So first up, the Scourge League itself. Do you care?
Of course, I always care about the league stuff. I love league mechanic. This, I love the idea of a new thing showing on the UI that's part of your, you know, that you're kind of inserting into it. I'm kind of curious actually to hear your take first, because I do have one relatively specific thought, but I'd like to hear what you have to say.
I'm always apathetic to league. I like standard. I like playing at my own pace in terms of the amount of time I can dedicate to it. Like, when I make my YouTube videos, I'm like, wow, I was like 25 minutes in that map, you know, like with all the different stuff I was doing. And I'm like, that was awesome. I didn't even kill the boss, but I loved it, you know? And so I like standard. And I know that when we start talking about how much expedition has changed now that it's core, when things go core and standard, it's well thought out. It's more finely tuned. I like that. So the challenge leagues, I'm always very apathetic towards, but I do appreciate it when they're well done, because it encourages how often we're going to play together. I think Scourge looks awesome. I love that it's not something that I have to pre-plan. It's just whenever I feel like it, I hit whatever is it V? That's like your league button. I don't know.
I think that's the default. Sure.
Your league button, and all of a sudden there's more monsters. Love it. Love it. And it's cool that it's a Val theme, because corruption is something that for the most part is very I know it's red technically, but it's black and white. You know what I mean? Like it's valid. Oh, dang, I screwed up my map. Oh, dang, I screwed up my tabula, whatever it is. So it's neat that it's Val themed. I'm now, this isn't a criticism. I just don't know how I feel about corruption not really being corrupted anymore. Like I love the whole idea of a brand new per se Scourge implicit. That I love that whole concept. I think it's cool. But to add things like, okay, it's corrupted, but it's not that bad anymore because now you can change the color sockets with an item or the amount, there's corrupted
fusing
jewelers,
jewelers
and chromatics. And then like the implicit for it and all that kind of stuff. So there's a few other things. So it does take away the severity. I don't know what the drop rates are on those items, but just in my head, to me, corruption was terrifying. Now it's less terrifying. That doesn't really matter. It's just it's a change of the guard, I guess you could say. And maybe it's temporary. Maybe Scourge doesn't make it. When you and I were watching the video, we're like, oh, this is going core.
Yep.
There's no way this is a temporary Lee. Like, it's going to be temporary, but this is going core. It's going to replace Breach or something. I don't know. But I do like that it's co-op friendly. They emphasized that was going to be a priority a couple leagues ago going forward, and they followed through with it. It says like everything's shared. Anybody can go into the Scourge area. Anybody can take you out. And even though it's timed, I know there's been a lot of talk about that it's timed and they're trying to slow the game down. Unless I missed something, which of course probably did, but it seems like it's all on your own time. Like you don't have to complete a certain amount to do something with your item. So you put your item in your Scourgy thingy, your item slot, you kill, and you tab out whenever you want per se, right? I'll call it tabbing out. I know that's not the right term, but you tab out, you go back to the real world. And so you have that progress. You know what I mean? And so now I'm just going to go into, let's say I'm in mapping now and I'm going, okay, maybe it'll take me 10 maps to fill that bar up because of how I play. But that's fine. I'm not missing out on progress like I would with Alva, where I can't kill all those monsters properly in time, so I'm never going to progress my temple. This is something where I can still accomplish what I want at my own pace. It's just slower. That's how I understand it. Hopefully, I still do keep my progress if I don't meet a certain threshold when I'm in the Scourged area. But so far, it doesn't seem to be any consequences. I hope it's releases well. How about you? What was the thing you want to say?
So for me, there's a couple things. One, the Scourge currencies, to me, I like them for 3 and 4 socket items. I can't see why I would ever use it on a bigger item, but the idea of now, if I do a Val side area and get some boots that are great, it's kind of nice to be like, okay, now I can actually put 4 sockets on them and maybe link them. I don't know how common the currency is. With regards to the time thing, I mentioned this after the reveal when you and I were talking about it, and I thought about it more as I was, just leading up to today. I just find Chris confusing. We've had talks where he said, we want to slow the game down. And then yesterday in his reveal, he's talking about build your build for clear speed. And I was like, well, make up your mind. They're not the same. Those are 2 different ways to play the game. And while I do tend to play for clear speed, primarily, I still am a little confused when it's like, what is the direction that you're going? I'm just a little bit unsure of, is the idea to try and slow the game down, or is the idea to we changed our mind back to zoom? I just don't quite understand it. But what I will say with regards to Scourge, I think Scourge. What I think you are correct on is that yes, when you fill the blood, that's how you're affecting the item that you're filling with blood to whatever have an effect on it, and you can control that. As you kill the mobs, that blood fills up, and per Scourge that you do, there's a limit to how much blood is going into that item. So as you're killing stuff, you're going to increase that blood, and it sounds like that blood caps at a certain amount that you can get from that event. Where there is a problem versus slow and fast, though, you're talking an entirely new dimension of mobs, which means that the faster you are, the more mobs you're going to kill, which means you're getting more loot, you're getting more currency. So a faster build is going to have an immensely larger amount of loot than someone who's slow during the Scourge, because they're killing more. They're getting more currency from those drops. They're getting more loot. They may not get more blood into their item, which is one part of Scourge, the filling up your item and blah, blah, blah. But it basically is packing 2 maps on top of each other and giving someone who's faster the ability, not only that, because if I clear through that map really, really fast, tons and tons of loot, end it, I'm zoomed back to the beginning, all the loot drops, and then I finish the map again. So there's a massive benefit to a class who's very, very fast. And I don't have a problem with it. I don't like time stuff. In my head, I'm like going like, why do you need the time thing? I just don't understand sometimes why they feel like you need it. If you choose to play a slower build and you want to run through the map, let's say it takes you 5-6 minutes to get through the map, and then you hit the button and you zoom back, what's the downside to you doing that in 5 minutes versus me doing it in 1 minute if I can do it anyway? There's no negative effect to me. So I just don't understand sometimes why they throw timers in. I know that they feel like they need to for some stuff, but I do see the concern with this one where it goes, if you're not zooming fast, you're definitely getting way less loot, way less loot than someone who's fast. So
yeah, that's not kind of like a Scourge problem. It's the same thing with PoE and that's just ARPGs, right? The faster you go, the more you're going to get.
But why
per
put the
minute
timer
or
on it
hour.
then?
But at the same time, this does put a magnifying glass on Scourge because now it does seem like double the effect if that's how loot is going to work. I agree with you with time stuff. If I don't see, we haven't played the content, we don't know. I don't see a reason for timers,
right,
at all if you're looking for build variety.
I should clarify what I said too, in the sense that I'm saying that you get you get more loot. I don't actually personally give a shit if you get more loot than I do. I really don't, because you have no effect.
That's not true. If I'm level
Well,
28 and you're level 27,
okay,
you are going to freak out
not
and get to
Tyler.
32.
What I'm saying is the population in general, if they're getting more loot, I don't care. It doesn't affect my game. I still play the game however I want to play it. So while I'm making the comment, I'm making the comment coming from a point of view where I just don't understand it. And I don't know that it's necessarily fair, but it will not have any impact on how I play the game.
Gotcha.
I think Scourge looks awesome, though. I love the idea of it. I always love new stuff. I'm always down for whatever they come up with.
And co-op friendly.
Sorry, one of the things you and I said, very first thing we said as we were watching it, this is amazing. It does not take me out. I don't leave a zone. I don't stop to do anything. I don't have to play with a screen. Just go. I love that. I love that.
You hit your league button and you're like, ah! Well, you'll kill. I'll scream. So I'll just tie
as long as you're the one
you.
that puts your thing to me. Yeah, because that was the first thing we said was like, oh, you die? No, we're never playing that. And then we found out later. Although you still got to stay within range. So
yeah. Hey, buddy. No
one
Quicksilvers for you.
4 Quicksilvers. That's what you need.
Oh, screw you. So we have an hour and 20 till I need to go get the kids from school. I also need to go to the bathroom.
Oh my God. This is again.
As fast as I can.
Move.
And yes, I'll wash. Like
go.
Okay, so I did wash, and my hands smell like some really delicious fake berries. But don't you love the concept of having some extravagant soap in your public bath? Not your public bathroom, but your bathroom that, when you have people over, that's the one they'll be using. So you can tell when they come back, if they don't smell like really fake strong berries, if they wash their hands.
We bought our fancy soap specifically for you.
I always wash my hands, man. Always. I hate having. Oh, you don't even know.
All right, let's jump.
Some of
Scourge looks awesome. Major new content and features. What do you got?
The new skills blow me away. It baffles me that they can come up with stuff. I know they probably have a backlog of some ideas, but last week they came out with like 18, which I thought was awesome. Sure, yeah, they didn't end up being balanced when they threw them out there, but goodness me, like the fact that they can come out with new skills but have some crazy ideas like linking.
Yeah, very, very cool.
Linking characters together, and they're like, yeah, okay, fine. Like, yeah, we're doing more than we've ever done ever in a league. I don't know if that's true or not. And was like, but yeah, let's do that. Let's add this whole proximity skill thing together.
It's fun.
Yeah, so crazy. And the new orbs, right? All the tainted stuff and sacred orbs. Cool, whatever. I like that stuff. They're not going to drop like scrolls. So sweet, give me more. And they're adding it all to the stash tab right off the bat. Yes, please. I mean, remember how long did we have to wait for blessings to get added to their tab? Like to a tab, what was that? Like 3 years, 2 years? Remember?
Are you talking about the blessing?
Not the blessed orbs. The the breach stuff. Remember?
Are the blessings? Do they have a slot? I haven't even actually paid attention. In breach, do they have a spot?
They do. I don't think they do.
Because that's one thing that always struck me, because I like that they have a more use this league, because now you can use them to upgrade the breach stones.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah. So I like all that stuff. That's what I get from it. Anything from new major content that you cared about?
No, and you know why I'm going to say no? Because it's a partial information. You're missing 3 points, so I'm going to have to deduct the point, GGG, because 3 things are missing from this.
What?
3 skills. I don't even know about them. I'll find about them later. The thing is, I do appreciate that they're like the multiplayer linking style skills, so they don't affect a large portion of the player base, except that they are going to also tie them in somehow to minions. So maybe they do. I don't really know. I would just love to know. It's weird to me that they can't just give us an overview of them. Like, I assume they're not in development, maybe numerically, but I can't imagine they're going like, shit, we said 6, we have 3 real quick. What do you guys got? Like that, they're not at that stage, right? So it's weird to me that they can't give us like an overview of what the skill is, but I'm excited. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, no, I get the concept of that they need teasers, but patch notes are patch notes. That's where you get your information. So
this isn't a teaser though. That's why it's weird to me. Like tease something that people are excited
watching
for.
The skill is a teaser. Reading about it is not.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, new minor content. This was actually to me. This is major.
This is the only thing I cared about.
Stackable currency. Now it's not everywhere. It's only at certain like types of chests or end of encounters and things like that. But still, in a large portion of the game, currency is stackable. Everybody's saying yes. Half of them are bitter because it didn't happen 8 years ago. The other half are just thankful that it happened, no matter when it happened. But
we talked about it during the review about the fact that we were both excited for it, but it also was unfortunately timed that it came out right as Preach had his big, like, I'm a noob, let me play PoE. This is stupid. Why do I have to click so much? And then all of a sudden GG's like, oh, maybe now we should listen. I don't care. I'm glad it's done.
Yeah,
but to me, we both were like, really? This is what it took?
Sucks. The timing sucks. So hopefully it's unrelated to Preach. Otherwise, I'd feel like I have less of a voice
just
than
don't ever
Preach.
tell us.
Which technically I do, but yes, yeah, the timing's unfortunate, but thankful for it. Awesome. Keep it. This better not be a test. This just better be
this
something.
is one they could never go back on.
Right.
People would actually kill them.
Now, here's something, though, that I think, and I've been thinking about this with, how currency drops and stuff like that. I think things that drop an insane amount shouldn't exist. There should be another mechanic that exists for them. Like, for example, armor scraps. There comes a point where you're like, oh my goodness, 5,000 is just a little much. I know I can trade them into Lonnie at the end of the game, whatever, or whoever it is for the armor scraps. But what if you made it so that your quality improved with use? Kind of like how Borderlands or with your gems. The more you used an item, your quality improved.
The only problem where that comes into is when you're trying to like 6-link or build an item and craft an item where you need it to be 20% to start with.
Yeah, but okay.
Well, I'm just saying there's spots where it is necessary.
True, I guess. Yeah, there might be some things that they would need to consider, but I like that concept to get rid completely of blacksmiths and armor scraps and stuff like that. And I mean, maybe they would need to be used as long, like a gem, where you have to use an eternity to get it back up to level 20 or 20%. But anyway, I thought that. Scarabs, a whole bunch of stuff stacks now.
Mm-hmm. Which is nice.
Including scarabs, which is great. Incubators are also something that stacks, but they also show the item level on it. So if you care to waste a slot with it, if you're getting rained in incubators and you're running out of space for them.
Yeah, problems we have a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I have so many incubators. What do I do?
When one drops, I'm like,
I apply it.
Yep.
Exactly.
And it's always
if
on
I have
the chest.
one in my inventory, I'm like, ooh, I have an extra one.
Yeah, and then when it drops, we don't even know that it's from an incubator, right?
Nope.
It's just, oh, neat, drops.
Mm-hmm.
Promoting party members. Finally and awesome.
That's cool. At least you don't have to drop party and remake a new one, which we used to have to do all the time.
Yeah, no, that is cool because people play like, for you and I, not a big deal. We're playing with 2 or 3 people. You, myself, maybe ETH, right? But then all of a sudden you have, what? You had a face like you were wetting your pants.
No, the list is big. Let's move.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, of course it's huge. Anyway, promoting party members and then visual buff for bone armor. I'm a necro guy, so having
no details about it though, right? Just that there was one.
Whatever. It'll be better than what it was. Expedition changes. Going core.
We kind of knew that.
Replacing Parandus.
Thank God. Parandus was awful.
Oh, well, I mean, what a good time to go when they're like doing stackable changes. They're like, okay,
Yeah.
we couldn't figure out how to get that many things to
Yeah,
stack. So
right.
let's
We
just
couldn't
get
do it with
rid
the
of that
coins.
guy.
Let's just take that out. And then also Expedition, you don't have to pick it up anymore. It automatically gets picked up. I'm like, I just makes me laugh.
I love it.
Yes.
But
Do it at the beginning of the damn league.
I know they did that with Einhart and Nets, and they've done it with something else that I can't remember. Like why do you have to have the league? Why is the league like that?
I know.
Why
It's
does
weird.
it have to wait to be core to be good?
The only thing I can think of, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say that it's because they weren't sure. It was maybe they just didn't agree with us and they wanted to actually give it a chance to see what it was. But hopefully this is maybe
we know. Okay.
Yeah, maybe this is like something that will help them in future leagues to just go, yeah, this was annoying. You can still trade the things that let you re-roll the merchants, but other than that, it's automatically linked. Perfect.
Yeah.
I love it.
But they rebalanced a whole crap ton of numbers, everything with like how scarabs are and div cards and like how things drop and the different types of currency. Logbooks are now part of the core game, so that's probably the most exciting part about all of this. So, like when my wife, she's been trying to play through, she's in Act 5 or something. Oh no, I don't even think I think she's in Act 4 now. She just got introduced to Delve. She's really trying to appreciate the lore. And it's just too slow. She's like, oh, I don't care. And she just clicks out and then she's done. So as awesome as all that, like all those extra NPCs are, oh no, does that mean more NPCs in our hideout? Oh, they need to have like a demigod NPC that just does everything. Someone that like takes the place of everybody.
Yeah, maybe that's coming. It'll be a upgradable.
Right. They also need to put Sin in your hideout so we don't have to go back to the Oriath or to the beach to upgrade our thingy
I think you can. I don't think you have to do that anymore. I think you can just hit Y in your hideout and change it at any point.
Wait, yeah, you can, but for your full when you
to
actually
actually
earn
get it
the
upgraded.
divine
Right.
vessels,
The divine vessel. They made the runic monsters are duplicated more rare. That sucks. That was my favorite one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was one of the remnants you could get, which would then give you, if you got that at the beginning of a logbook, then it would affect all the rest of it. So you'd have tons of monsters.
But anyway, and coupled with that, with Parandus removal, all that like Parandus stuff got changed. The Ivory Temple map boss, the Ivory, like the unique map and all that kind of
the
stuff.
drops have gone core too. So they're just like in the, yep, it's cool.
All right.
I like that.
Yeah. Guild stuff.
Really cool. I mean, it's hilarious that it's again 8 years later and we're getting guild
control click.
Literally the very first. This is the first guild improvement since the beginning of guilds. Nothing has happened with them since you could make one. Control click. I understand why that's a struggle for them on a server side, because that is quite difficult, but it is funny that it's like, okay, now you can have it.
Yeah, very thankful for it, for
awesome.
sure. It is really nice. The guild hideout thing just blows me away. I just love the concept that I could just have my normal hideouts, my guild hideout, and I can use it as my personal hideout when I'm not in a party, and I get to hang out with people that I know I like hanging out with. It's awesome to see strangers. I love seeing all that cool stuff that they have and how they run around, and I like running around a stranger in Oriath because I've never beaten Cyrus. I like running around a stranger 100 times, and then they start running around me. I like that, but it's cool to be around buds as well, so I just love that. And it doesn't interrupt party play. And now that you can like move your party leader around back and forth, so awesome. So I'm over the moon about the hideout stuff.
They bring in the microtransactions to it as well as nice, so you can get the the custom tabs. I was reading that you have to, if you've unlocked, so like a forever exiled guild, hint might be coming, but you have to repurchase the hideouts. So which is, I guess, makes sense. They're not specific to the guild leader. I thought if the guild leader had unlocked or paid for them, that it would be available to that person's guild, but that's not the case.
No, it's all the free stuff is available for free with the hideout stuff, but all the paid stuff stays solo, and you have to pay separately for it.
Right, for the guild.
Yeah, yeah. Yep. That makes sense to me.
Yep.
Oh, but they got rid of the master favors.
We had a talk with Tarky about this. I don't remember even which episode it was. I don't remember if it was just the last one, but he was talking about how there was this barrier to entry for people that wanted to do hideout design. And one of them
was 100. I think I was 100 or 100. AD maybe.
you have these stupid masters that you have to level up, and that's a huge barrier to get into it. Not only that, but then you have to earn the favor every single time you want to make major changes because you need enough. So the fact that they're unlocking all decorations, non-MTX decorations, but all decorations now, awesome. I'm so excited now because there's going to be so many more hideouts for me to borrow from people.
No, it's so cool. It's awesome. And when you go from one hideout to another, as long as it applies within the rules of, like, you know, if you're just going from your hideout to your guild hideout and you had a map open, it stays open.
Yeah, the map device is specific to you.
Right. So you don't lose it because you're changing your hideout, or you don't lose it because you're going from your hideout to your guild hideout. You keep your instance.
Well, you can also have multiple hideouts, which is nice because you couldn't before. You could have multiple hideouts, but you'd have to reclaim the items if you needed them. If you had only bought like one of something, you can now build multiple hideouts using multiple base types for the hideout, which is awesome.
And as long as you're in your hideout, your map doesn't expire. You can have your portal open for forever if you stay in your hideout.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, really cool. Especially within, like, for example, Forever Exiled, our 2121 chat, people used to be, right? We used to, hey, who needs this labyrinth? Okay, here you go. And we'll just stay there and we'll wait. Or, hey,
Don't
I gotta
need
go get
that
dinner.
anymore.
Well, true, but I'm saying whatever other circumstance happens,
Sure.
right? Hey, yeah, come on in and you don't have to worry about timeouts. And then, of course, super thoughtful before it even comes in, an amazing tag system so you can really fine tune your search results with your decorations. Oh,
awesome.
100%.
Yeah.
But it's there, and it's not there 3 leagues later. Super cool. I can't
Very
say
cool.
enough about that. If all they did was keep 315, Expedition goes core, guild hideouts come in, I'm over the moon. Did you care about all that aspirational content? Just?
So here's the thing. I'm going to say no. In general, I am excited for new stuff, 100%. When I'm talking endgame and aspirational stuff, I'll tell you what I am excited for. And it might be part of something else you've got coming, but it's the fact that we've dropped to 4 sections in the Atlas, which means I can progress faster. And we talked about this last league, that one of my biggest frustrations with the game was so much is gated behind Maven, and so many cool things unlock once you can start unlocking these passives. I love that that's easier to do now. I love that you can get into that difficult content. The thing is, the reason I like it is difficult content, and they actually talk about this a little bit with the lab change. Difficult content doesn't change the difficulty of the content. So letting somebody get to that difficult content is fine. And I don't think there should be some massive grind to do it, because if I get to the difficult content, I can't do it. I don't think you should be able to skip to it, because then you're going to get frustrated. Like even Chris said, you just go straight into it and you die and you go, oh, this is stupid. It's not, whatever. But I do like the fact that I can get much more quickly now into the Maven upgrades, the Atlas changes, and experience some of the endgame stuff without this just monotonous grind that I just couldn't stand, but loved once I got into it. So that's the stuff I'm really excited for.
Oh, definitely. They added a whole bunch of extra, I guess, another layer of endgame content for so many different mechanics, whether it be delirium or breach and all this stuff. And I'm like, I love that. To me, I love that there's content I will probably never ever see. Sure, somebody might carry me through it and it'll be, oh wow, neat. I'm surprised I lived through it or that I could do it. But I love that the game is so big, I'm not gonna see it all. I love that. And if one day, let's say I'm sick, I break my leg and I'm home for forever, or I catch COVID and I'm not allowed to see my kids, so I'm like 1 week downstairs or something, maybe I'll get to it. Maybe there's something I'll actually get to try for once. I just love that there's, for me as a casual player, unreachable content, but there's extra stuff for people, especially now because you need that extra chase content or that extra 10 tiers of, what is it, delirium or the simulacrum. Yeah, all that kind of stuff. If you're making the Atlas easier to achieve.
My only spot I'll disagree with you is on a league boss. I don't want a league boss to be unreachable for a casual player, but I do agree with you. Aspirational content, like, do you want to do I don't know, it's glowing super bright breach. I don't even know what it's called. Do you want to do that where you're still fighting the same boss at the end? You just have, it's just harder and you get better loot. Totally fine with that. But I don't want to not be able to see a boss because they were like, hey, here's the stupid things you must go through in order to reach them.
Yeah, you needed to run this map 1,000 times for a 10% chance to see this boss.
Right.
I
never saw that guy.
Totally agree. Bosses are one of the most exciting types of combats that everybody lives for. And to be like, oh no, you got to be a 24/7 player to get a chance. Yeah, screw you.
And you can get to Cyrus now faster, which as much as we don't like him, at least you can do it. At least people will see him now more than they did before, which I think that's great.
Yeah. Now I'm surprised because, and I love easy to remember things. So now that the map is down to 100 maps, no, but I think that's great. You
I know,
asked
it
me
just
in
sounds dumb.
315.
It's funny.
Well, it is,
I like
but you asked me in
easy to remember
315.
things.
It's like, how many maps are there? I don't know, like 100, 200 something. I don't know. And it's like 164. Now it's 100. Awesome. I just think it's
118, right?
Well, yes, but excluding uniques, which you do not need to unlock map favorites. So, they better have changed Val Temple. Anyway, I'm surprised with some of the maps that they've removed. Like they got rid of now. Granted, they might not be all the types of maps for that base type, but they got rid of Belfry, Channel, City Square, Mesa. I loved those maps. So hopefully there's others base types. I know that their Waterways, I think it is called, is the same as Channel, but I can't think of another Mesa.
I wonder what their method was.
Yeah, I don't know.
I hope it was just like throw a dart.
But they got rid of some of their new maps too, which I was quite surprised.
So then maybe it was just random. I mean, they'll come back. They'll just, it gives them something to cycle each league, which I like that.
Yeah. I mean, I am curious though, now that you bring all that up though, about like the longevity of stuff, what this new Atlas is going to be like for the 24/7 players. Like for us, it's awesome. We'll get to the end game content better, faster, more efficiently, etc. We'll have more options within our limited maps to, say, oh, well, we need this map to, unlock it. Like we're not going to double up on our Maven maps because we have more variety. There's more maps per region per se. But I'm just curious what it's going to be like, the end game content. Maybe that's the whole point of the extra aspirational stuff. Yeah,
totally. Yep.
But then the Atlas passives.
Yeah. They've just adjusted them. They're more now in each section, which is cool.
I like how hardcore that is. You still only get the 10 points. Now, 10 points is a lot, but they made the trees way bigger and they thought about it and they're like, no, you're still just getting the 10. You get 5 keystones per se in that tree. I like that. I like how
totally
hardcore that is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're going as fast as we can because we got an hour until we got to pick up the kids.
Well, there's also, here's the thing. Everyone who's listening to this, you've probably seen the patch notes and watched the reveal. That patch, every single time patch notes come out, there's some stuff that's going to pertain to some people and some that doesn't. This is the stuff that we care about. There's certainly stuff in there that you probably are like, oh, you idiots, you didn't even talk about. Yeah, we didn't. It's just because we don't care or we missed it. So.
Yeah. Yeah, guys.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Delve changes though. Delve to me was always a joke. It was like you get one shot or you don't, and it's never going to be your choice. I know people can progress better than me, but to me, I've been casually progressing, and there's some sections, just the mods that roll, I couldn't do it. So I'd skip it and I'd go on a different path. And, I'm getting close to 300 and I'm not really running it unless the mods are stupid combos. I'm fine to do it. But I always thought the Delve combat was just very hit or miss. It was a joke. It was kind of fluky. So it's neat that it got rebalanced. I like that it did. Like everything got changed. And I love that the leveling drop rate, like everything really, difficulty leveling drop rates, the drop rates of Delve currency, boss frequency, all got changed, all got rebalanced. I think that's awesome.
I really like the fact that if I skip Delve until I'm well into the end game, I'm not going to have to start way at the top because that was really grindy and annoying. The only thing is, no, it should still be fine. You'd have to be careful. If you had never been into one at all, and now you're going into the depth that's equivalent to a tier 13 map, you're not going to have any upgrades. So you better hit those Azerite ones real quick and, upgrade your resistance in the light because it is going to be dark for your first 3 runs through. But I love that that's an option now that you can do that. Can I tell you my favorite one though? Because I know this is the one that you probably are most excited about and it has the biggest effect on you. We've also introduced new Delve Bio Modifiers and allowed Delve Bio Modifiers to spawn below depth 6,000.
Oh, that's me. That's me.
6,000.
Did you say under 300? That's me. That's me. Yeah. Yeah. So no, and I'm appreciative of that. Hi. Yep. That's me. Permanent leagues were also considered in this as well. So it's just going to, for me, my whole tree is getting reset. Everything I've done in Delve reset, which is actually kind of cool because
does it not normally?
No, it never.
In standard?
Resets,
I guess it wouldn't.
ever.
Yeah, that
and
makes
you
sense, right?
get whatever was rolled. So if you can't progress in that, that's never going to change ever. You have to go a completely different direction and find, and that's cool. But this is the first time ever Delve has been reset. And it's going to go to the farthest depth that I was there, and then I can branch out whoever I want. But that's kind of exciting for me. It's a brand new set of dice. It's pretty sweet. So there it is.
Yep. Delve. Cool.
Super.
Lab. So exciting.
Oh my goodness. Honestly, we want labs to get completely removed without ascendancies getting removed, but this is almost the same thing.
It's nice now not to have to find all 6 of them in order to do your Uber lab. Especially, I can imagine for a solo self-found, this is probably amazing.
My goodness. No more jokes about not being able to find Burning Rage anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's gone.
Yeah.
It's done. How awesome. And now you have to be, apparently from the wording, you have to be level 68 to go into it. But great. Now, why do you think though, like they said trials aren't going to show up. They're still going to show up in maps, but they're going to start in yellow, right? Just in case you run out of offerings or something. Why aren't they in whites? I didn't quite grasp why you can't get an offering in a white map.
So you still need the offering to the goddess, which means you still have to go through, you have to find one of the trials.
Well, you get them while leveling.
An offering to the goddess?
Don't you? No, I guess you don't. Okay.
No. So because during leveling, you're just unlocking it. You're not getting the offering. So you're still going to have to find the trials and maps, complete the trial, get the offering of the goddess. But that just means now once you're 68, you can use that offering to go straight in to do the Uber.
Right.
My only guess is so that somebody can't just very easily fly through, because the modifiers on the map affects the trial. I think that's got to be the only reason I can think of, is just to stop people from farming the gift of the goddesses as fast as they want. Because for an Uber player or somebody who's doing that it would make it really easy for them to do it. That being said, it means you can do it in a blue map, so it's not, it's not like the modifiers are so crazy. Oh no, white maps would just be tier 1 through 6. I don't know. Do they mean white maps as 1 through 5, or do they mean white as in not rolled?
No, they said white, not normal. So I would assume they meant tier 1 to 5. Yeah. So anyway, it was just curious because, from the solo self-found perspective, you have to wait until, like on your first playthrough, you're waiting until you hit yellow maps to attempt something that you could have done at 68. You can't do it right away if you had a strong leveling character type of thing. Not a big deal. I'm just curious why. I really don't care because, your second playthrough or on standard, you're going to be able to do it at any time you want, right? So after 68. But anyway, super exciting. Love that you don't have to go around and find it. You're not going to be level 90 with only 3 ascendancy level ups. So want to move on to ailment mitigation? You're reading some.
I'm reading because I do remember I remember seeing the thing about the white maps, but I actually can't find it anymore in there. Oh, Trials of Ascendancies can no longer spawn in white maps. The ability to consume the offering of the goddess in the map device. So I feel like white, I'm really curious if white maps means tier 1 through 5, or if white map means an unrolled map.
To me, I think they would have used normal map if they meant...
Normal map would have made sense to you? It wouldn't have made sense to me.
Yeah, because normal, magic, rare, unique are the tier definitions. And so to me, if that wasn't an oversight, white map means tier 1 to 5.
So then I guess you just have to be doing, if the requirement is level 68 anyway, you're probably already into yellow and red. So, well, yellow's for...
You finish the campaign at 68. Tier 1 is monster level
Maybe
68.
your first level you do, but I don't mind that. Like, it means you just can't get your Uber right away, which is fine to me. And really go and trade for one if you're worried about it.
Yeah, the whole point of this for me is I'm not level 90 with only three ascendancies. You know what I mean? So totally. that's the fix, and I'm happy with it. Next step, get rid of it completely. Huzzah! Anything ailment mitigation? That was all dealt with in our previous podcast. I didn't see anything.
Yeah, we talked about that already.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Same with flasks for me. Nothing's new, but so much changed in 3.15 that I barely even got to touch because of I just didn't get to see enough of the incubating orbs. Is that what it is?
Enkindling and instilling.
Instilling, right? Yeah. And so anyway, I didn't get to see enough of those, so I didn't really get to play around with it. Now that they've like rebalanced it the way they really want to with a lot of thought, now I'm crazy excited because there's so many options that I still haven't tried that I really want to like, okay, well, do I want to do like all my elemental flasks? Do I want to do like when I get shocked, trigger the topaz flask? When I get chilled or frozen, trigger the sapphire flask? Like, do I want to do that, or do I want to just go all quartz flasks because phasing is just your best survivability option in the game outside of movement speed? I don't know.
You want to know my favorite flask change that's not a flask change?
What?
Is that there's a new visual on your belt when you're using explosive concoction or the new one. So
Isn't
you
that
actually
cool?
have like, yeah, I think that's awesome. That's my only flask change I care about.
Yes, I love that kind of detail. I think it's so fun. So fun.
I made comments in our last episode about flasks. I'm kind of still meh about them. I'll figure it out. I like some of the uniques we saw looked really interesting, but I'm confident. I know people don't like when people say it, but I'm confident GG knows what they're doing. So
You almost spooged your pants when you saw that there was a belt that's
that just has the always on.
Yeah. Now they have to be, as far as I remember, they have to be normal flasks. You can't magic them, but
I'm kind of okay with that.
yeah, you constantly have. Yeah, always being.
We'll see.
It's like a unique with macro.
Now introduce a macro and I'll be happy. But
core character defenses and recovery, still nothing new, but I'm excited to see how it changes looting. Like this is really going to change looting, and I'm quite excited about that.
Changes looting in what sense? You mean like what you're looking for?
Yeah, well, all these mods have changed, right? Mod values have changed. There's a quality per se, not really quality, because I guess that's a specific term, but there's a variance in your drop values per base type when there wasn't before. And there's less perfection available now because there's more variety. So I really like that. To me, still the most mind-boggling thing, despite the fact that that is a mind-boggling change. And maybe I just don't understand the game well enough, but to have even more max resist nodes on the left side of the tree is crazy.
Yeah,
like I know that's their only mitigation for ailments, but that's so strong. That is crazy strong. So anyway, I'm still nervous about block. I have to try it out. Block to me has changed. The fact that gladiators changed, they took one of the gladiator keystones and made it public. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and the new one's kind of cool. The new one that they replaced it with is kind of cool, but it is weird. What I'm most excited about is for you to go max block and then link to me so that I get your block without the downside. Because you could even take, they were saying you could take
glancing
whatever the
blows.
one keystone is. Yeah. And
I
would get the percentage.
You don't. That's right.
Right.
Oh, I love how like he throws out these hints just to make sure that people try them. You know, for example, you could
do this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's see. New mods on all this gear. Oh, it's gonna throw me for a loop, man. Yeah, it's gonna throw me for an absolute loop.
That's fun.
Well, so much got taken away, so many more got added. Oh my goodness, my loot filter, it's almost done.
You look through their like list of stuff in this section of the like core defenses. It's so long. Solution problem. There's so many of them.
And I'm really curious how stable this is going to be at the beginning, but I'm really excited for the new Fortify. It stacks, and you get 1% of damage mitigation per stack against all hits. Every kind of hit, 20 up to 20%. I think that's
what's the duration
smart.
on that?
5 seconds.
So as long as you continuously are doing whatever you're doing to build it up, I guess.
From what I read, I don't know if one stack replaces the refresh or not, or if you have to keep it going. Like, well, poison's different, right? Like poison, you have to keep it up no matter, and it just expires. Whereas other stacks, like charges, for example, the second you get one, it refreshes all of them. I don't remember reading it. I don't know if they touched on it or not, but either way, having it stack is the perfect way to kind of not remove it from the game, but make it unappealing to people that aren't doing that type of damage. Like a caster or a minion player, you're just using shield charge. So I think it's really smart. Sure, it sucks for me because now I don't really play melee builds. I'm using Righteous Fire with the Chieftain and my Necro with zombies. It completely cuts it out, but I think it's a really smart change. Be interesting to see how people play around with it and what the new passive tree changes are for that type of stacking. Next.
Yeah, we're kind of working through the pre stuff that we've already gone through. So the new with the auras and reservations,
nothing new. I'm excited to see how the new reservation math works. That's something that, unless it needs to get tweaked, is going to be around for another however long, right? It's been a long time, so be pretty cool. Neat to see how the new standard is. Support characters with curses. That was all jewel based. Curses are the way they want them to be for the time being. Fantastic.
The only time I'll ever care about curses too much is when they eventually figure out the multiplayer side of curses. Until then, I don't really care too much about curses.
It sucks unless you have a ring or something that says on hit, we override each other
which
all the time.
I always go that route now, so we can.
And we've never come up with a creative way to fix it
Nope.
ourselves, but that's not our problem.
That's why we don't make the game.
That's right. You can pay me to start brainstorming more.
And I still wouldn't be able to come up with something. It's a super difficult problem.
Mm-hmm. Elemental damage over time. Again, nothing new, but I can't wait to see what my Righteous Fire build looks like. Righteous Fire, along with every other dot, including Searing Bond. Oh my goodness, I hope there's a Searing Bond guide out there. Maybe I'll put it into Righteous Fire. So strong. I just can't. The numbers are like, oh my goodness, it looks like it's doubled its final level 20 numbers.
It's so fun to me to hear you when you talk about it too, because you don't play it from the point of view of these 2 keystones being changed, how they've just destroyed certain builds. It's like, no, you're fine.
Yeah.
They're just different. Like, relax.
They are. And you know what? They work perfect for me because everybody well, not everybody, of course. There's a lot of people that like the guide and they constantly praise and they're super edifying, but I get enough criticism for having a Righteous Fire build pre-316 that didn't use Elemental Equilibrium. Mm-hmm. And to me, it was too much. Like, you'd get such an amazing roll, but it added freaking fire damage to it. It's like, up yours. Like, no way. So I just nixed it for the last like 3 or 4 leagues. I just completely nixed it. And
wasn't your build extremely easy if somebody wanted to add it though? Like almost every build that focuses.
100%.
Yeah, it's always weird.
This past league, I added Incinerate for my boss damage because Righteous Fire was just so weak. It was basically your secondary skill, even though my build revolved around Righteous Fire. So I just added Incinerate. Now it's perfect. Now I'm holding down Incinerate as my 6th link. Elemental Overload's going to be perfect because Incinerate's only there for bonus damage anyway, so now it's going to get even more damage. And Righteous Fire doesn't need Elemental Overload because of its damage perks that it just got. Justin, Showing. Know what I'm saying?
Totally.
All right, passive tree.
Oh my God, so many changes.
Let me read this. I know I've been talking lots. Hang on.
He means the whole section.
I'm going to read everything.
Go for it.
No, this is the perfect paraphrase. This is from GGG in the patch notes. The passive tree has changed so significantly that there's no way to concisely describe the full breadth of changes.
It's awesome.
I can't believe. Oh my goodness, the stuff.
Which you would know if you watched the reveal. If you watched the reveal, you were like, okay, that's awesome. Can I please play with it?
Right.
That's what I want. I want to play with it.
Yeah, who's going to actually play 316? Like, you need 3 months to just play with this new tree, and everyone's going to love that new passive tree game. Oh my goodness.
I saw some people talking about concerns with it, but I think that, I mean, we talked about this when we watched the reveal. It's always funny to hear people complain about something before they've had a chance to play it. But I think it's cool. I love how some of the new stuff works on the tree. It's really weird looking at some of the pictures people have put together. They piece together. It's hilarious. I saw a post where they took all the screenshots and different moments and built what you could see of the total tree.
Oh, that's
and
so
then marked
cool.
Where notables were now moved to on the tree. And when I was looking at some of them, I was like, what? So I think that's fun. I'm super excited for it. But yeah, you got to check that out if you haven't seen it. It's pretty fun.
That's so cool. Yeah, like they completely rearranged all the keystones so they're properly spread out and in their appropriate places still. Jewel radiuses were considered a mastery system, which integrates but doesn't double stack. And so all these notables have changed. Travel nodes have changed. Like, did you see some of the massive skips with travel nodes?
Yeah, it's cool.
That was, to me, despite the fact masteries are so cool, so amazing. I can't wait to like get those down, figure it out. Like it's such a brand new puzzle. But the travel node system, Justin, to me is the craziest thing. It looked like where there used to be 3 travel nodes, there was 1, and it was a huge gap. But do you know do you know how many more nodes we might have to unlock stuff? How much stronger can we be?
At least 2. Yeah. At least 2.
Good number. But then they changed all the defensive values. Like, to me, I was already freaking out in a good way about how I'm going to have to relearn the tree just to figure out that I'm getting enough defense.
Totally.
But then they changed everything else. But they said also, they prefaced it with, we did our best not to change this so your years of muscle memory won't be wasted.
Sure, which I appreciate.
Oh,
but I'm still confused. When he said that too, I was like, did you though?
Yeah, that's right.
One thing that's awesome about this that I don't know if you have this, but it was one of my favorite things to read about the passive tree is now in game you can zoom further out to see more of the passive tree.
Yes.
I really like that.
Oh my goodness, farther, closer in, and
because sometimes the inventory could block it and certain things could get in the way where you couldn't actually move it. So yeah, I love that.
100%. And they took this time to completely redo anointment costs.
Oh, cool. I didn't read that. That's cool.
So all the notables have brand new anointment costs. They've gone through and decided what should be and not just if it is the same value, they still might have changed which oils you used to. So
cool.
Anyway, like I said at the beginning, they thought of everything. And they're just like all together. They put that dump truck of topsoil on your lawn, man. You want some? No. We set you up for 30 years. You got it.
Yep, I like this one.
Yeah. They reviewed the monsters. Hang on. Why is this in passive tree?
Yeah, I don't know. I saw that too. I just read that. Go ahead.
Well, this is in the wrong section. So reviewed monsters with abilities that always hit. Removed always hit from the fodder monsters and some boss abilities where appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
So take that comment and put that where it belongs, because I copy and pasted that in the wrong section. But here's the biggest thing now that's driving me nuts as an Uber fan, not as a criticism. Where the beep is my list of masteries. Do not tell me about masteries and then not give me a list that I can
You'll
go
get a
around
list
and
in
play
time.
with. No,
There'll
but
be
the
a new
passive tree's not
post
out,
in
Justin.
time.
You post
time.
the patch notes early, but not the passive tree?
Yeah.
I need the list of masteries. I need.
They're trying something new, Ty. They're trying something new. And I, for one, love it.
I am nerding out and it hurts my heart. Ascendancy changes.
My wife, I told her that you came by. I was like, yeah, Ty came by so we could watch. Oh, no, I said Ty came by today. And she's like, okay, cool. We were walking to get our girls. Oh, cool. What for? I'm like, well, Path of Exile had the reveal today. And she starts to laugh. She's like, oh, you're nerds.
Oh, 100%. Oh, so awesome.
That's right. Anyway, go ahead. What's next? What do we got?
Ascendancy changes. They terrify me, but I love them.
Do they? Oh, they're so fun.
Because they're cornerstones of builds. So even
when we watch the reveal, you and I are so different because you're like, what do I do? Oh, build guides. And I was like, you should just stop because these are awesome. In my head, I was like, I love that. This is why I love Path of Exile. I love when there's something new and changing. I don't care about builds. I don't try to help people play. I just want to play the game. So I love when this stuff comes out.
Oh, it's funny. And I was watching Noogie, who I absolutely love, go through this post. Like, that's who I auto-hosted at the end of the Twitch broadcast. He's going through and he went through the Chieftain and he's like, oh my goodness, this is so strong. I can't believe it. And I love the Chieftain change, even though it's minor. But Ascendancy changes terrify me because those nodes are the reason you're picking that entire class. It's the cornerstone of your build most of the time. And so even if gems change or the passive tree changes, if your Ascendancy doesn't change, you can make it work. But when an Ascendancy changes, you're like, my entire build might be kaput. And so anyway, for the most part, things weren't dramatic, except unless you're the Trickster, Gladiator, and even though the Raider got a lot of attention, it didn't change. It just changed with new mechanics. But the Gladiator got that new, the new notable.
Yep. To replace versatile combat.
Why are they they're not notables. They're keystones. They're huge. Anyway.
You call it whatever you want. Big dot.
Yeah, the big dot. Replaces versatile combat 10% to maximum block chance.
Mm-hmm.
And you get plus 10 armor and evasion per plus 1 block chance. So technically, you're getting 85 block chance, right? They didn't change the cast.
Assuming you get no, but that's assuming obviously you can get to 75.
Right. So you're at 75 without what other keystones? Max block is never with glancing blows. Don't kid yourself, people. So you're getting 85% now instead of before it used to be plus 4. But now if you want that max, you're not getting it for spell, right? Because now that new keystone limits you to 50, but
that's right.
Now your block chance is equal to your block chance of blah,
it's
blah,
really
blah,
tough.
so it's 50. Right.
One thing I like about it is they've made it really hard to now figure out what you want to do. Whereas before it was very simple. This is amazing. 10% to max is crazy, but then you're also going like, but.
Right. So here's the thing. You could go 50-50, right? You can get your attack and spell to 50% block chance and you're not a glad.
Mm-hmm.
Before you could get it to 79 with the old system. But so now you're at 50. But if you're the gladiator and you want to go max block without glancing blows, you're looking at 60% with this new notable, right?
As the glad?
10% to maximum block chance.
Right.
I assume it's only for attack, but maybe not. And then if you have the old keystone that's now available for the public, which makes your max at 50%.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Now you're at
That's
60%.
Right, yeah. To 60. Yep.
Which is
but
a
you'd
lot
also get
lower.
the spell block. You'd also be getting the spell
right.
block at that one.
But now you're getting plus 10 to armor evasion per plus 1 per 1% block chance, which if you're at 60%, that's a lot. That's a lot of lettuce. So anyway, that one was really cool. I loved thinking about that. I almost was too late to make my notes.
Would you rather have 85% block chance or
no
60% to both
I'm an even Steven.
Attack and spell?
I'm even Steven. The reason I never play Templar is because I hate that I have a good block chance for 2 seconds and dick all for 3 seconds.
Well, but in this case, you would have an 85% chance to block if you didn't go that other route.
But not spells. And I don't control those monsters. I'm not in control. I don't even know. So something lightning's coming at me. What do you mean that's not an attack? What do you mean it looks like an attack? What do you mean that's a spell? I don't know. So I prefer even Steven because I have no idea what the monsters are doing. Trickster, their new notable, which replaces that sweet ghost dance that everybody loved.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, think about this, Justin. With righteous fire. Every 10 seconds, take no damage over time for 5 seconds.
When I read that, I thought you would hate it because it's one of those ones that's like, oh, it's on, oh, it's off, oh, it's on, oh, it's off.
True, but with Righteous Fire, you're not revolving around that notable. With Righteous Fire, you're already, I'm comfortable with, but that's not how I play. But I'm saying, when you're doing Righteous Fire, you're automatically, by default, you want to be able to sustain what you're doing. And then everything else that you get is basically bonus coin or it's helping out, but you don't want to be screwed without this. So basically, you're already fine without this notable. And then you take that, and then it's like, okay, my damage over time for 5, I'm not taking damage over time. So now all of a sudden, I have how many more 1,000 life regen for half of my gameplay?
So you're going RF Trickster? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm staying as a chieftain. But still.
But
awesome.
I could.
But I could. No, because I like the endurance charges. And even though I didn't see a lot about endurance charges in these patch notes, because they did change a lot of how endurance charges, and I'm surprised I didn't see that because they talked about that in the 3-part pre-dev manifesto.
It'll be in a future post.
Right, but they changed how mitigation works with endurance. Maybe it was just the life regen, and then they already talked about that. But anyway, I'm sticking as chieftain. But absolutely awesome. Awakened supports got buffed, which is awesome. I can't tell. They have increasing to gem levels at their max level. That is so cool. And even immune to stun. I think I saw that one on the cast while channeling or something. You can't get interrupted while you're channeling.
It's really weird. I love it. I really, 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 really love it. But it's really weird because last league they were like, hey, remember those awakens? They suck now.
Oh, do they? I don't remember that.
And then this league they're like, oh, yeah, let's fix that. And they did. They're cool. I'm excited.
I would like to throw out, though, that these are pointless changes because awakened gems apparently don't exist. I've never seen one. So
you have to get to the top tier, Ty. Okay.
I'm getting I kill those. What are they? Guardians? No, Conquerors. I get the Guardians. No, the Conquerors. No problem. I can't kill Cyrus, but I can kill the other ones. Never seen one. So shut up. Melee range had a nice little tidbit change. It has to be a tree or an item investment now. Melee range is no longer impacted by gem level. Cool. I like that consistency.
It sounds like it's going to be quite good on the tree. They didn't give much detail, but it sounds like it's going to be quite a bit more supported on the tree. So
and that was specifically for strike skills. So I'm sure it's specified for strike skills, but it is nice that now if you're doing strike skills, there's no benefit based on range. No matter your strike skill, you're going to do your similar investment if you have a preference for melee range. And I do like that type of consistency. I think that's really nice. Shield skills got nerfed. Well, obviously, because they were all too strong. There's a lot of nerfs that for some reason they just didn't have as a list of skill changes. They itemize every single one. So obviously there's some nerfs. Forbidden Right was definitely going to be one. Here it is. I got a question for you, Just. Forbidden Right was strong. So they changed totems.
Well, because it was Forbidden Right casted by a totem that was strong. It wasn't that Forbidden Right to play itself casted was not easy. you had to really plan around it because you were taking a piss load of damage. It wasn't the same case when you ran Forbidden Right on a spell totem.
But now that changes for every other skill just because
No.
of Forbidden Right.
I actually think their change is awesome, and it's so specific to Forbidden Right because the totems now have less base damage but are more resistant to enemy and other damage to it. So yes, it has lower base life, which means the Forbidden Right is going to hurt it, but the damage coming from outside sources besides whatever self-cast is coming from the totem, which literally is only Forbidden Right. I don't know anything else that hurts the totem. So maybe RF. I don't know if this would affect RF. I'm not, you can't do RF on a totem. So yeah,
you can.
So then maybe this might, if you could.
But it does also pave the way, I guess, for other skills that consume life to also. Yeah. Okay, I get it.
It's a good change for most people who play totems. It's just if you played Forbidden Right totems, it was a relatively necessary nerf. So
smart correction, Just. I appreciate it. Also,
so I'm here
they talked about 315 skills getting changes. Cool. I'm a minion guy. I cared about Absolution. It got changed. That's super big AoE. I was surprised no changes to Reaper.
Well, Absolution was now you get it on rare and uniques, which is nice. Not just uniques.
Yeah, definitely.
Totally.
I'm surprised Reaper didn't get any changes. Not because I know what change needs to be changed for Reaper, but it seems like I don't know how to play it because, I don't know. I'm curious what the style's supposed to be. Like, I guess maybe Reaper is supposed to be like a constant resummon skill. I don't know. I'm curious to see how people play. Funny enough, I'm curious how people play Reaper this league, even though it wasn't changed, because I'd like to see people be very successful with it so I can learn from it. I was heartbroken by the next section, though. So anyway, any Reaper players out there, show your videos, share your videos on our Discord because I want to see what you're doing.
This is your cast on triggers, right? You didn't
cast
like this?
on trigger mana multipliers.
Mm-hmm.
Lots got some love, which I guess is needed. I don't really play with them, so that's good. Cast when damage taken still has a 1 billion% mana multiplier, which I was hoping it was going to get cut down a little bit.
They fixed cast on melee kill, cast on crit, and cast while channeling.
Super. Not cast when damage taken. It's probably exactly where it needs to be, but I wanted it to be lower anyway. I wanted it to be at 100%. Make it cost. But 250.
Not for now.
Now this was the post that I was waiting for. Now I know that 250% is like the stay. If it's going to change, it's not going to go down to 100. It's not going to be dramatic, like going from absolutely nothing to 250 like it did last league. Now I know, okay, for the most part, even if it drops down to 220%, not going to change much for me. This is the value
plan
that
around
I need
the 250. That's right.
So now my new default play that can last for leagues to come, that was the news I needed, even though it didn't change. Then there's a whole bunch of other garbage. Spectral throw mana cost got changed. Super duper. Ward strength changed. Super duper. Breach unique balance. Super duper. I still, though, I have a soft spot for the United one. Like, what was it? United and Dream. And the other one that you always used to get for me that poison makes my minion damage poison.
Severed hand or something. Or
Severed
and Sleep or something.
Yeah. I love those. Got a soft spot for those. Used to always get those for me back in the day when I couldn't clear maps by myself.
Mm-hmm.
I can now. I'm a big boy now. I can.
Good for you.
New tag, though. Hey, J-Dog? Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Huh? Critical
Crit.
has a tag. Mm. And they just created it because I guess the mastery system is all about communicating with other tags.
Tags are fun.
Yeah, tags. Crit tag. Cool, right? Did you care about the Zero unique drops? Me too. But they changed stuff, so that's nice. Clever construction. I don't even remember what that is. Here's my note.
It was a jewel thing, wasn't it?
Okay. Oh, maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
They changed stuff. That's neat.
Cool.
Val Immortal Call. Apparently there was a problem with legacy items that could permanently sustain Val Immortal Call. I don't know why you'd care about legacy items.
That feels like it could have been in the fixed section.
Yeah, definitely. But why would you care about legacy items? Like, I get caring about a permanent league, but if someone chooses to play with legacy items, okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
But anyway, because of that, it's changed everywhere to a 60-second cooldown. That's a minute. And it used to be 3 seconds.
Wow.
Yeah. So remember when Warcries went to, like, some of them went to an 8-second cooldown, and I freaked out because Path of Exile, 8 seconds is way too long.
They were just prepping you.
That's
for
right.
this
Because,
one.
but now I'm thankful for them because cast when damage taken with something like Void Sphere that has a 10-second cooldown or whatever it is, that works really well because now I'm not casting it constantly and the cooldown actually has some value for cast when damage taken. But 60-second cooldown for a legacy problem?
I just reread it because I wanted to get clarification because I didn't read this particular one.
Correct me, please.
Well, it's not necessarily correcting, but it's that Val Immortal Call could be kept active permanently by using legacy items in a permanent league. Because you can still get, by using legacy items in a permanent league, so they've increased the cooldown time. So you apparently certain items were allowing you to do it. I do get what you're saying though, because now that had to have been with how you would gain souls though. Like I don't know how fast
Sure.
Val Immortal Call refills. Does it fill even more than one a minute? Per minute? I don't even know.
But
I really don't.
My point is, like, that's the point of legacy items. You do stupid stuff with legacy items. No one else can get them. Who cares? Let them do something that no one else can do. Nobody cares. League players don't care what you do instead. Like, what is there any competition like ladders in standard? I don't think so.
It makes sense. I get it.
Okay. I know there's something I'm missing, but it was crazy to me that there was a change to the core game that
From
revolved
3
around
to 60
legacy items.
is pretty severe. You kind of wonder, like, did you mean that 0?
Yeah, it's
3 to 6.
Yeah. I already forget what wavering focus is, but that changed, so I wrote neat. Unique map boss ailment threshold. So some bosses in some unique maps were too beefy against ailments.
So less beefy.
Now they're not.
The next section's the only one I care about for an upcoming one. I like it specifically. They talked about it with regards to, is it prophecy? No, betrayal, whatever. It's the unveiling. I love the fact now that when you I don't even know if this is this section, but unveiling now
it's the
unlocks
next section.
them all.
Thanks for skipping.
I don't care.
ahead.
This got me excited.
Go ahead.
Unveiling now unlocks all the crafts.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, there's no more tiered unlocks. Oh,
I love it, and it's just one time.
The old system was so ridiculous. You could unlock tier 3 before tier 1.
Yep.
Oh,
I did it a
was
lot.
Crazy.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
I love it. I'm very excited for that.
Oh, isn't it great? Like, because crafting on your crafting bench isn't your strongest way to get items. So why not just let people have their pretty good item with that pretty good mod and then let them keep going? Oh, I think it's great. I
think it's
totally
awesome.
agree.
What did I skip?
There's something in Delve, Prophecy, and Incursion Crafts that you missed. Way to go.
All right. Fill me in, Ty.
Blah, 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 blah. All the crafts that you could get that would do stuff like socket colors, socket numbers, socket links.
Okay.
Those aren't that were previously found, and everything that was only in incursion temples, now they're found in maps. So all that stuff that if I didn't like Delve, that's okay now.
Can you still get it in Delve, but you can also get it in maps?
No, I think it's previously found. I guess it doesn't say it's technically replaced, but you can find them in maps. So I like that maps is your default place, your default end game. That's where you get all your crafts. Your crafting bench is now not, you don't have to play side content you don't like, but you do have to play maps. And I like that.
Did you read that some of the crafts are in unique maps?
Damn it.
Including meta crafting modifiers being found in unique maps. I hope it's a set thing, like in this unique map is where you get whatever.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. Oh, wow. That'll change.
I hope one's in Dunes so bad.
No.
I hope so.
No. I banned my first mixer user for the one time that I couldn't do Leap Slam in Dunes way back in like the 2 somethings. Leap Slam couldn't do Dunes at the time. Maybe it still can't. I don't know. And I'm trying to, and I'm like, it was the first time I'd ever tried a movement skill. It was right after they changed how Leap Slam, the camera movement went with it. So it was no longer almost like an instant. It didn't make me nauseous. I was trying it out. Someone came on, and they were just like, it's stupid. And they were laughing and they were criticizing, and everyone else was standing up for me, but this person was a prick. So I banned them.
That's awesome.
It was so tough. Let's see. What else do we have? You're on crafting modifiers. The Sacred Blossom boss fight had some changes or something. I don't know. It doesn't exist. I've never seen it, so that's nice. It's not a thing. Added damage on quivers. Now they added now they're stronger, so that's cool. Unarmed, Justin, can you use shields with an unarmed character? Or do you have to have both hands unarmed? Do you know?
I don't know.
Apparently, you could use quivers.
Could?
Yes. No longer can you use quivers. Disabled quivers while no bow is equipped to prevent benefiting from an unarmed character.
I mean, that does kind of make sense, I guess.
To me, it makes sense if you can't use shields.
Right.
To me, shields for an unarmed character, to me, shields and quivers are the same thing. If I was a fantasy character running through a forest, I could have a quiver on my back if I wanted to. And I could also have a shield. So to me, they're the same world. Anyway, neat.
Except that you couldn't pull that bow or that quiver out to block damage.
That's fine. It still gives me the same motivation. I still feel super cool when it's strapped tight against my chest. I feel extra tight.
As you run forward with your fist.
Yeah! You betcha.
Okay, go.
Skill gem weapon restrictions. They correctly show all weapon restrictions on skill gems. That's a feature.
Again, sounds like a fix.
That's right. If you could only use this with axes and scepters, now you know, and you're lucky to know.
You're welcome.
That's right. So that's not in the bug fixes. That is a feature.
That's right.
Trap enchantments got cast speed. Okay. Golem life regen. All golems now have life regen, which I think is super, super smart. Golems are the type of minion that you use to buff any type of character, and not all of characters had the investment into minion survivability like a normal necro would. So I think this is really smart. For some reason, they gave the stone golem extra life regen, but I guess that makes sense if you're pretending that Path of Exile is realistic. But I really like it. I think that's really smart. It doesn't change the mitigation, but it does mean that they'll be able to survive a little bit more, and there's a lot less resummoning. So I like it a lot. I still won't use the stone golem for my Righteous Fire character, though. Its buff gives like 150 life regen per second. Yippee.
Something.
For
a single skill.
150?
It's still something.
I'm worried about taking 4,000 damage on a hit. I don't care about 100. Do you know how...
Who does 4,000?
I don't know. Big hits. Chris was talking about in his video. He's like, this game's all about not getting two shot, not one shot.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have 6,000 life, okay, so 3,000. Still, 150 life a second? Lame. Anyway, shut up, Justin. The Golem life regen thing, innate, it's really good.
Yep.
They changed some harvest crafting.
Oh, that's actually a good one. They got rid of basically having the Alk and the Chaos craft. It's now the same one.
Less redundancy. Yep, it's good. They did something with synthesis map mods. Super duper.
Whatever.
Yep, this isn't our fault, people.
What can we jump to? What do you care? What in here?
Triggered
what
marks.
Else do you like?
I like this one.
Okay.
They changed mark triggers so that it's not going to remark someone and cost you mana on something like custom damage taken or something. It's not going to cost you mana if your trigger or if your mark is triggered on someone that already has it. It doesn't apply to me, but I do like that
sounds
the
like a
game
fix,
is that smart. Yeah, the tornado skill got renamed from unique. That's pretty neat. Syndicate operative specters got a bug fix. Oh, good news, Just. Resistances can no longer be lowered to below 200%.
Right. That was all because of Scourge stuff.
On you, I
Yep.
think. Right. So now you know.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. Xana League mods.
I actually like them.
I like them a lot.
Yeah.
I like that they're... I would never use it anyway, but I like that there's none that cost 1 billion chaos this time around.
8 is the max, I think.
Yeah, that's nice. It's still going to be fortune favors the brave for me, always and forever.
It's kind of tough though, because you have Breach, Essence, and Bloodlines that are all the same cost, and or less to run it. So I think it's cool.
Saving the best for last, folks. Best for last. User interface improvements.
The only one I cared about was the passive tree. Mm-hmm.
Skill bar has been tweaked to fit skills a bit more nicely. Sounds cool. Looking forward to that. Skill bar user interface now displays a skill if it's dealt a critical strike while you have elemental overload. So is it talking like where my skills are actually listed, like QWER?
Yes.
So now I have to look top left and bottom right?
Correct.
Oh, super.
But you're welcome. It's there.
Okay, good. Yeah, great. I guess that's fine. It's just a lot of eye jumping. Not like it matters. Because you're going to be, at least it's there. Like, you're not going to change anything based on if you have elemental overload active or not. It's just nice when you do. But it is hard to jump around all the time like that on your screen. On console, a lot of those buffs are actually already listed on the skill side. Like how many minions I have up and stuff like that. That's on the skill itself. So, too many patch notes. But to me, like, that's nice and it's cool. I'm glad they thought of a place to
Have a drink. You sound like
I
you're
thought
dying.
that it's nice they thought of a place.
I'm going to speed this up for him while he's drinking. So they've added a slot for the Sacred Orb, which we talked about, which is awesome. The Piranha's Coin is hidden unless you add them, because you could still have them in Standard. They've added a slot for Breach Blessings, Flawless Breachstones, and Unrelenting Timeless Emblems to the Fragment and Stash tab.
But all right away, they didn't wait a few leagues for it, which is nice. It's just done.
They've been doing that a bit more recently, which is good.
That is true. That might be an old bitterness that I have there.
Yep. And then they added a designated slot for Delirious maps, the Delirium Stash tab.
Yeah, that's not a thing. Delirious maps don't exist. I've never seen them.
Oh, right. Because they can. Oh, that's actually cool. I like that. Because they can roll with some of the modifiers on them, and then they could get lost in the map tab. So that's cool.
Yep, just like the tower defense ones. Now, we didn't actually talk about this at all. I must have forgotten to write it down, but quest rewards are soul links, Justin. That sweet soul link skill. I'm going to use one. We're going to be tied together, boy. Anyway, Act 4 is when your doom begins. That's when they unlock. After you break the seal.
What are skills that I can use to kill myself? Because I want to keep that in like a
Cast some damage taken.
No, I mean, I guess I could just like turn on RF.
Yeah.
And wait for something, because I think it would be really fun to just have that as a. Oh, you want to talk back, Ty? You want to act like a dick? All right. All right.
Yeah, that's right. Val RF this, boy. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. PvP change, Justin. This is important.
Thank God.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, needed.
Uh-huh.
Did you even know that it was possible to make a PvE or a PvP only character? Because I read that you can no longer do it, and I was like, you couldn't ever do that.
That was what I read.
That was not a thing.
Yeah. So now you can't create PvP only character. Just all your characters are pointless now.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, the rest of the stuff I don't care about.
Now, we didn't actually talk about the colorblind bit, but the trade website actually adds support for the new socket notches, which is something they use. They use these little notches that Chris was talking
We've
about.
talked about them before.
Color. Well, yeah, we talked with BK about the colorblind stuff, but they didn't have a solution for it. Now they do.
We did talk about the solution, though. We've talked about it in a previous episode because it was because this was announced a bit ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we've talked about this before. Yep.
Knew that. Anyway, now that kind of the notch things on the trade website, however that's going to work.
Cool.
So it's nice that they added it right away.
Then 1 billion bugs.
And oh my goodness, our timing's so fantastic. I was glad that we had so many scrub headers there.
Do you have any bugs you care about?
3 I thought were hilarious.
All right, go for it.
3 I wanted to bring up.
Okay.
Fixed a bug where Corrupting Fever could snapshot the amount of damage dealt per second with the Corrupting Blood debuff. What is snapshot?
Well, snapshot is like taking something like some information from that moment. I don't know what this is talking about, though.
Okay, so that's the thing, but they fixed it, so that's good. Fixed a bug where skills with a percentage reservation cost could still be reserved with extremely high costs. I still don't know what the bug is, but that would suck if it applied to you after all this mana stuff changed. I still don't really get what that is. I guess there's specific circumstances they're thinking of, but. And then fixed a bug where some incubators could fail to drop an item upon reaching their kill requirement threshold. Are you kidding me?
I knew it.
Yeah, that's right. That's where all my good stuff went.
That's where I lost my stuff.
Incubators, that would have been so devastating if it actually happened, though, because that's one of my favorite parts of the game. I just love that. Anyway, that's our ginormous list, but goodness me, am I excited for all these changes. Yes, Scourge is coming. Yes, it seems cool, but these core changes are insane. So much.
Yeah.
The tree, defense, off, everything. Everything's different, it seems.
Yep. Endgame, the Atlas.
Oh.
It's so fun.
Can't
I'm really
wait.
excited for this. What do we have? The 22nd this comes out?
Yeah, next Friday. It's a week today.
A week today. So our next episode will have played for a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Just like that. All of a sudden.
We're there.
If they come out with another patch notes episode for us.
100% no. Mm-mm.
Technically, they haven't had a dev manifesto yet.
Still, it'll be part of next episode 107. Because this already is an hour and 50 minutes recorded, hopefully edited down a little bit. But no, GGG. Knock it off.
So long.
Craziness.
This episode is so long, I have to go to the bathroom again.
Anyway, it's going to be fun. I'm super pumped for Scourge. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Scourge.
Yep. And the base changes that they're making, I think, are awesome. I think it seems like people seem relatively excited for the league. I think if you're not excited for the league, work too hard to try and find a reason not to. You know what I mean? Like, I think you're overthinking it right now. Here's a lot of really cool changes coming. Try them out. Give it a couple weeks and then make your decision. Don't do it now, because this stuff is positive at a glance. Yes, there's some things that might be like not exactly how you want them to be, but at a glance, this is a really cool looking league.
I can't see stuff to complain about yet. To me, this is just insane. I have to see these masteries. I have to see the tree. GGG. Post the tree.
I'm excited for it, and I'm excited to just play the way I play. Doesn't matter what they do. I'm going to have fun. So
what you're saying?
Scourge.
Scourge. What you're saying is zombies, right? Scourge.
Nope. That will definitely not be the way I go.
What are you going to play?
I don't know, but now I'm thinking if I could link myself to a zombie and you linked to me, now you better keep that zombie safe, because when that when that zombie dies.
Oh, wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah, it'd be fun. You know, I was thinking, now this is real quick, we need to end this episode, but it would be really fun if there was eventually some way to have requirements in a private league where you could go hardcore, not solo self-found, but you're required by the time that you get to Act 4 or a certain point in Act 4 that you and your party have to be using a linked skill, so that you have to build around, or that if you are playing with a part, I don't know, again, there's no way to do it, but I was thinking about that yesterday when we were watching it, that it'd be really fun to have a private league where you were dependent on your team to not, to like figure out how you were going to use the soul links, but it's not possible. So let's
if you were just going solo, you had to have something soul linked anyway, like a minion.
Yeah, you could, to a minion or something. Anyway.
Like SRS.
Yeah, that would be a great idea.
Oh.
You can't target an SRS though.
They haven't released it all. I read the patch notes.
Episode 106. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Forever Exile, the Path of Exile podcast. I'm Justin AK Tags.
Tyler, Wrecker of Days, and I can't friggin' wait. This is gonna be awesome.
Patrons will catch you guys in After Dark. Everybody else will see you in 107, the couple days after the new league comes out. If you're looking for more information, you can find it down below. We got a website, foreverexiled.com. We're on Twitter, foreverexiled82. We have a Discord, which is awesome. You should be on it. And if you're looking for Patreon and other ways to support the podcast, you can find that down below or on our website. Bye.
Oh, GGG. Thanks for all the nerd food. This is awesome.